This podcast was produced by OAR FM Dunedin with support from New Zealand On Air.
Welcome to 5 Continents in 50 Minutes, a podcast series based on the continents of the world as symbolised by the 5 Olympic rings. I'm that blind woman, Julie Woods, and alongside me is my husband and artist, Ron Esplin. Hello, Ron.
Hola.
Oh, hola. And together we are going to cover the facts, figures and favourites of the continents in 5 10-minute podcasts. This is podcast 4 and continent 4, which is the Americas. Ron, what is the illustration you've painted for the Americas?
The illustration for the Americas is the Liberty Bell in USA, not just the Liberty Bell, but you in the USA touching the Liberty Bell.
And it's in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. And that opportunity arose because the security guard, tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Would you like to see the bell in your way?" And
that was a moment because he swept everyone aside. He took the rope away from around the and then retied it after to make sure nobody else came in, and then led you up to the Liberty Bell so you could feel the bell and get an idea of what it was, the size of it, and the crack in it.
Yeah, I certainly did see it in my way. Thank you, Wayne Rogers. What can you tell us about the Americas?
Well, the Americas include North and South and Central America and the Caribbean, and that totals 650 million people. Certainly a diverse population and generally a high standard of living, particularly in North America as opposed to South America. There are 35 countries in the Americas. The largest population, of course, is the United States of America with 335 million. And the second largest population is Brazil with 215 million. And the largest country by land is Canada. The famous landmarks, you'll all know, the Statue of Liberty in the USA, Christ the Redeemer in Brazil, Chichen Itza in Mexico, Machu Picchu in Peru, the CN Tower in Canada, and the Iguazu Falls in Argentina.
What about the foods?
The food, well, burgers and apple pie, of course, in America.
Yep.
Poutine, you may have heard of poutine.
Chips, gravy and cheese.
Yeah, there's only one way to experience poutine, and that's by trying it, and it's very nice. And beaver tails in Canada, you'd say, what, you eat beaver tails? Well, no, we don't actually. It's like donut, cooked from donut mixture, and then it's made into something resembling a beaver tail, quite a lot bigger actually. And then there's tacos and guacamole in Mexico, beefsteak and churros in Argentina.
Yum. You're making me hungry. What countries did we visit in the Americas?
Well, we visited the US, of course, Canada, Mexico, Argentina, Peru, Cuba, Bolivia and Brazil.
And 3 of those were wonders of the world, or we went to those countries because of visiting the wonders of the world. What was your favourite country in the Americas, Ron?
Well, I think the favourite was Bolivia. But I know that you loved it too, so you're allowed to talk about it, Julie. I do love Cuba. Cuba, it's a remarkable history, and to arrive there, you actually see the history in the places that are there. The rockets, the Russian rockets, are still there. I don't think they're poised ready to hit America anymore, but it's quite a sight.
They wouldn't be live or anything, though, would they?
No,
They'd be decommissioned.
No.
They're just there for tourist purposes.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So,
you're right. My favourite country was Bolivia because it's so different and almost eerie, and the Chilitas have the floral dresses with the bowler hats, and they have the witches' market, and it's just such a unique place. They put flowers, bouquets. They dress the top of their cars with flowers. It's just like, it's so unique and so different that I really loved it. And I knew nothing about Bolivia before I went there, Ron, and I think that probably speaks to that. What was the best meal you had in the Americas?
Well, we had just arrived back from, we only had arrived in New York, actually, and a lovely hotel, but we decided not to dine there. We thought we'd get out onto the streets of New York, and we found short piece of time, we found a little restaurant so iconic. It's almost as if you're watching some kind of an American sitcom, and you walk in, and of course they say, "Howdy, how are y'all? Are y'all good today? And what you wanting to have?" And I said, "Well, we come here for a good old solid American breakfast." "Ah, you sure came to the right place today."
I think your accent's in the wrong part of the country, but we'll let you away with it.
Well,
do you want to hear about my best meal?
Yeah, go for it.
It was a baby beef steak in a tango house in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Boy. That was, honestly, the best steak of my life. Now, Ron, the worst meal, and I'm going to say you've ever had in your whole life, but relating to the Americas, was?
Guinea pig. Guinea pig, well, there are a lot of ways of cooking guinea pig, I imagine, but I've only seen one way, and it's crispy and crunchy. It makes everyone knows you're eating guinea pig because you just go crunch, crunch, crunch. And there's very little else, I think, unfortunately, so I won't be doing it again.
And I'm going to make it my worst meal because I had it in my sensory diary that day you ate that, and it was the sound of Ron eating guinea pig. Crunch, crunch. Oh, my goodness, right. What about the best drink you had in the Americas?
Well, interesting thing about in Peru in particular, you have to be a little concerned about what you drink. You need to be aware that you're going to dehydrate, and the amazing heights that you come to. You've got to watch out for sickness, altitude sickness. So pisco sour is a wonderful way of getting around the altitude sickness. And I'll call that the best drink, pisco sour in Peru.
I will say tequila, lime and salt in Mexico, which we drank the night we visited our seventh wonder of the world. But just it's such an iconic drink, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
What is the America's best kept secret?
Well, the best kept secret is probably the Belmont Hotel in Iguazu Falls. I nearly didn't get my Iguazu out of my mouth. It was that guinea pig was on the way. The Iguazu Falls are a fantastic display. I know it's we've been to the other Niagara and so on, but that really is stupendous. And it's the best kept secret that the Belmont Hotel is there right beside the falls. So if you book into a motel or hotel going to Iguazu Falls, you won't see them until you get on the tour. Whereas if you book into the Belmont Hotel, you can go there whenever you want to. You
can. And for me, the America's best kept secret was the floating reed islands on Lake Titicaca, which Lake Titicaca is the highest navigable lake in the world, and it borders Peru and Bolivia. And the floating reed islands were something that came about when the Spanish invaded South America, and to escape them, the locals built these floating islands made out of reed plant, and they sort of bob about in the middle of the lake like a waterbed. And they just astonishing to step onto, and they build schools and families live out there. And if they fall out with their neighbours, they cut them in half and set them adrift.
Not the neighbours.
Well,
just
both
the rafts.
Well, both of them, yeah. So they're separate forever. But that was an astonishing thing.
It was
to behold.
I was actually. We were both dressed up in native.
We were. Ron was mayor of the floating reed islands of Lake Titicaca for about 30 minutes. So congratulations. You've been listening to 5 Continents in 50 Minutes with that blind woman, Julie Woods, and Ron Esplin. If you'd like to contact me, Julie, you can do so on julie@thatblindwoman.co.nz or Ron Esplin Artist, let me get it right, at gmail.com. This has been podcast 4 of 5. And Ron, I hope you're going to come back for podcast 5 because it's our final one next time.
Right, just email me. You'll be able to remember that address.
You've been listening to this continent, the Americas. So how can we say goodbye in Americas? Adios, amigos.
Bye, all.
I'm that blind woman, Julie Woods, proud sponsor of Around the World in 80 Minutes. After going blind in 1997, I said why not so many times. I am now a professional speaker, author, advocate and coach. If you're looking for someone to help you or your team turn your no into why not, then why not send me an email to julie@thatblindwoman.co.nz or phone or call me on 021 913 513. Why not?
This podcast was produced by OAR FM Dunedin with support from New Zealand On the Air.